the president talked a lot about battery power as well.
So speaking of battery power and speaking of supply chains, did the weather from last week in Texas come up at all? Because I'm also working on a story today about how plumbers in the area are just like trading with each other parts that they need to help bring water back to people. Did that come up at all?
And I felt, I was without power and water for 5 days. It was, I really, the president, he did say he's flying to Houston on Friday. He is providing a lot of assistance, FEMA assistance to Texas. He said it's the right thing to do. I know your people are hurting, and that was very good to hear from him. He was very empathetic about the conditions in Texas, and really wants to help with financial assistance. So I thought that was a very positive thing. I think with respect to the ERCOT grid, I know there will probably be some fundamental changes there in terms of management, but on one hand, having our own independent grid has some advantages when it comes to cybersecurity, for instance, but we have to find a way where we can isolate and secure, but we can also share with other grids when we get into a situation like this. And we also have to winterize our energy systems, which were, it's frozen. I mean, I think the windmill and solar panels were knocked a lot, but 70% of this energy coming in was natural gas. It was, the wells were frozen. And so there was a 2011 state legislature report that actually dealt with a lot of recommendations for this, but they were not mandatory. They were just voluntary. And unfortunately, a lot of that wasn't carried out. I think you're going to see the state legislature and the Congress really focusing on this.
So would you agree with, a lot of Texas mayors are calling for an investigation into ERCOT and investigation into connecting the power grid to other states. Is that something that you would agree with, or kind of hold off for now?
Well, I don't have a problem with this. Well, if you become federal, then you're under federal regulations, and that's a whole nother issue. And I think that's what the intent was when ERCOT was initially started, was to be independent. But we saw the downside to that is not being able to share power. I would like to maintain some independence, but at the same time, in an emergency basis, be able to share power. Because had we been able to do that, we could have kept the lights on and the power going. And it was really, really just awful. I think the damages are going to be close to what Hurricane Harvey estimates are in the state.
And I got to ask, you said you were without power and water for like 5 days there. How'd you get through? I mean, there are so many stories out there. What's yours?
Oh, yeah, I've got a lot of kids, and we try to make it. We have a lot of candles, couldn't take a shit. You forget how much you rely on energy and power for everything, whether it's, for your water, taking a hot shower, to your cell phones. We had to, charge our cell phones in the car. But I was also on the phone quite a bit with my county judges, elected officials, constituents. We got a couple of assisted living homes back on power that were turned off, and a hospital, which could have been fatal. So we responded in a time of crisis, which is what I think the people of the state of Texas deserve that from their leaders.
So you were home during this, like in Texas during this? You weren't in DC during it?
No, okay. I was sleeping with about 3 sweatshirts and about 4 comforters every night.
I was in the same boat as you. I had all the comforters on. I had sweaters. I was wearing sweatpants to bed. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was not fun. And I talked to my colleagues who are from the Northeast, and they're so used to it. But they don't have their systems are all winterized, up there.